I went out and grabbed myself some leathers, so that way I don't have to worry about burning up all my shirts. I think I've already done in 3 of them so far. Okay, so we got a bunch of little jobs going on in the shop today to get prepared for some bigger jobs. Maneri's gonna down here to give me a hand. Basically what we want to do is, it's snowy outside, so we gotta move some snow around so that we can move the old car frame forward. Take the truck and car out, put it on the hoist, bring it up. That way we can bring a few more things into the shop, and I can also get underneath and start working on welding, because I had said in the last episode that I was a little bit concerned about moving the car without the body attached, but it turns out I figured out a way after talking to Tim and talking to Jeff and stuff like that, where we'll do our best to get it strapped down safely out in, and then that's going to make life a lot easier. Plus, putting it up in the air is going to make a big difference in terms of workable space underneath, because we've got a few other things going on. So now it's time to start shoveling. That's going to be a lot of fun. Straps are off the top. Straps are now around the body. See if we can do this as a 2-man show. I don't know if we will or not. If not, we'll have to call in some reinforcements. I don't know who those people might be, but we'll give it a whirl and see. So she's up on the hoist, finally. Can get underneath. Maybe kind of hard to see, but work away on what needs to be done. Fix up a few things here and there, but this is a far better way to do it. I'm glad that we decided to pop it up. That way I don't have to lie on the ground anymore. To clean our heads up here.
Ooh, comes out really nice in some spots. See what it does for the inside. And this is just a super cheap steamer too. Definitely not a car-based one, but it's getting a lot of the big grime off, which is nice. And look at that. Sure, there's a learning curve too, and I'm going way too fast, but I'm excited. And it holds its pressure a lot longer than I thought it would. Well, that's a pretty good start. coming around. Because I wanted to see how effective it was. All I did was put a degreaser on and nothing. I didn't agitate anything. So if I took a soft bristle brush and just went over everything, I think this would just blast it all right off. So that'll probably be the next step, but I was really curious to see how this would go with like just degreaser sitting on there, and I have to say I'm pretty happy. For an entire $49. I know you can get much, much better ones, but you know what? This works. Cool. All right then.
Back at the shop for what looks like a day of welding. I've been here for a little bit, just kind of getting things prepped, doing the boring stuff that nobody really wants to watch. I've got, let's give you a show underneath here. So the plate's all cut, set to go on behind the rockers. I cleaned everything up underneath, gave it a good grind. We'll go in across the top there, and then we'll come in across the bottom as well. I've used every pair of vice grips I could find in the shop to hold it up. And then basically what the idea is going to be is that we're gonna come out, like with these guys these still have to come off. But like this type of stuff, we're gonna come out with a box so that we can set things up to have, when our mount comes off, that's where it's gonna attach onto the body. I'll just get everything figured out. Once this is welded on, I'll either make some boxes up or I'll get somebody to do it for me. So now, it's just a matter of getting the welder out, getting some tacks in there, getting it on, and then getting these vice grips off. So you can kind of see after some messing around and whatnot, I've got this lip welded in. It's not really pretty, I guess, but it was a bit of a challenge just getting my settings because the metal was so thin. Gave it a grind down. I think I'll just I'll pretty it up as I can. At least it's not a bunch of bubbly welds. Gotta go into the car next. That's the thing that isn't gonna be too fun. Where I am lucky, and it's really no excuse of course, is that it is a ratty looking car, so nothing has to be absolutely perfect, but I would want it to look as nice as possible. I mean, people are gonna be looking at it and stuff like that, so they're gonna notice these things. So I think once I get my plate secured on the inside, I'll come back out and kind of pick away at this some more, but I just want to get that done so I can go and get the other side put on. Today was one of those days where I came down to the shop and thought that I would get a whole bunch of things accomplished and was worried that I wouldn't have enough to do. And it turned out that that wasn't the case at all. The first job from today turned out to be way more of a challenge and time consuming than I had anticipated. So that's going back. We've got the other plate, rocker plate, put on the passenger side now, but there was not a lot, well, much like the other side, there wasn't a lot to work with. Basically what I've got left to do is some work on the inside, just to attach the top.
2 hours later.
I didn't bother recording more, it's just welding and welding and more welding and some grinding, but I'll show you the end results here. Just gonna get my light. Actually, I'm gonna duck underneath the hoist first and give you a show. So basically what I did, just came along and tacked it all underneath in both sides. Go over to this other side here. Same story, just tacked along. Certainly not the most perfect welds, but they're not all bubblegum and wire, so had to give them a little bit of a grind to look half decent, but they didn't look bad before I did that. That's gonna do a good job of holding those pieces in, and plus we're gonna get some structure behind them too when we actually get the body mounts made up, which is the next order of business. So I'm happy that that's all done. It took a little bit longer than I thought, but as always, learned some stuff along the way.
It's another day at the shop. Today I'm continuing on, I guess I should say, with cleaning. Gonna attack the block. Today, just try to get it cleaned up. We gotta bring it up to a machine shop to get the cam bearings replaced. All the other parts are on order. So all I've done right now is sprayed it down with some spray nine. You can see just this little, this isn't a wire brush at all, it's just a bristle brush, like a glorified toothbrush. Just gonna kind of go over everything, and it's gonna take a few tries, but between this and the steamer, and I might even hit it with an SOS pad after I get a majority of the really thick grease off, and we'll go from there. The nice thing is it's an aluminum block, so you don't have to worry about like rusting it out or anything. Not that it would anyway, but so yeah, that's where I'm at for the moment. We'll probably end up doing this as a time lapse, because that's fun and exciting and all of that. I even have light. Now, music wise, what should we do? This could be viewer's choice, but since there's no way to actually get in touch with anyone, I guess it can't be viewer's choice, it's still up to us. So, how are we? Oh, we're way off. And, oh, we're falling in. It's on a milling machine here, so there we go. Is that better? Maybe down a little. There. All right, so let's say it's a good type of music. Some kind of fairy tale music, something that makes it seem all cosmic and you know, like Cinderella could come dancing through at any minute, because you never know, Cinderella might come dancing through at any minute. And I'm hoping it's the band, not the lady, because that would be awesome. Alright, so there's a lot of oil staining and stuff, just, you know, I was a high mileage engine, and in my mind it looks great. People have questioned my mind before, but, you know, see if I can do all of this with one hand. So I'm filming, and, oh, there's the dead mouse that's attached to it, there we go. So, get the nozzle right there. Nope, nozzle. Look, it's the steamer cam. Alright, come on, steamer cam. Let's see what happens. Oh, there's no tripod or anything I can set up here. This is the issue. There. So, no, still not working. Okay, well, you know what? Here's what it looks like before, and I'll be right back. Something I just learned, didn't know. Once again, haven't done this before, so I think this is kind of a cool little thing in the back of an LS block, and I'm sure anybody who's built one is sitting there going, why are you talking about this? We've all done it, we know. There's this guy. That guy. So, what it is, I've already kind kind of popped it out a little bit. It's pressed in against this O-ring right there. It's a little barbell that seals off your oil passages to the back of the block. So oil filter goes there. You can see passageway down to the front. And this little guy is responsible for making sure that oil pressure stays there. So one of the reasons I took this out, if you look at that O-ring, it's probably not in the best shape. There's a lot of gray on there. So, I mean, it would be the worst to go through all of this trouble, have this part fail, lose oil pressure. This is underneath this sealed plate on the back, up against your transmission, have to pull everything apart just for that. Once again, I mean, I'm sure LS guys, super familiar piece. Me not being an LS guy, this was new to me. I think it's pretty cool and an easy piece to replace. And it gives me the option now. I've got this passage that I'm gonna blast compressed air through and make sure all our oil galleys are, or galleys or galleries. I don't know. I look at it either way. So yeah, we'll make sure that it's all clean and going, and hopefully it'll help make sure that there's a little bit of safety in the engine build, and that we'll get some decent oil pressure. All right, thought I'd just add that one on. Bye.
So as we wind down this episode, the engine is pretty much all set to go. What we're waiting for are parts, specifically the cam bearings, which have been on back order for a while. Once we get those guys in, then we're going to take the block, go up to our buddy's place, pull the bearings out, put the new ones in, get the engine all cleaned up and ready to go, and then we're going to start reassembling the engine to get it ready to go back into the car. It's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully it doesn't take too much longer and we see those parts soon, that we can move on to the next step of the project. As always, everyone, thanks for watching. We appreciate the support. Make sure to click the subscribe button at the bottom, like button, dislike button, even if you want. Either way, stay tuned. Keep an eye on what's going on. We're excited for what's coming up next.